It is the fact that I have been rather critical on paganism lately. I've been talking about um, things that are counterproductive to paganism, um, talking about ethics and everything, because I think it's very, very important. Um, this video is not going to make me any new friends. We have to face the truth about paganism. So many of us seem to be living a delusion. We are only willing to accept what we see or want to see with paganism. We are willing to ignore historical facts. We are going to let our feelings dictate so much. So many of us current pagans are former Christians. And so one of the things that motivates us is the fact that we're not Christians. We are not going to do this. We're not going to do that because that's what Christians do. Or if they see something, they're going to say, that's a Christian thing. It's not a pagan thing. And that's so pathetic. You know what? There are many unfortunate similarities between paganism and Christianity, talking about the people and what they believe and how they believe. There is also many similarities in how we lived in history. I wanted to go through some of these because this is important. We talk about spirituality, but we really don't. So many people just want to talk about magic and, getting your vibrations right so you can cast this spell and that spell and do all this stuff. But we do not really talk about our spirituality in connection with our fellow man. We do not really have any kind of direction on how to deal with our history, with how we deal with other religions. We are very shallow people, very shallow. And you might say, well, that's a bad judgment. No, it's an accurate judgment. And here we go. There's a lot of pagans out there who are willing to criticize the Christian community for the treatment of women. We also are willing to criticize the Muslim community for how they treat women. All right. We know how the church made women, be quiet, and stay in the home and all that. We criticize that all the time. I see memes out there that say that, in paganism, we did it right. We treat women as equals to men. And that is wrong in so many ways. You see, you got to look at history. And history tells us certain facts. And we're going to go to Greece, good old ancient Greece. Sparta was a very liberal city-state when it came to the treatment of women. They had some freedoms, some. But if you go to other city-states like Sparta, which we think is such an intellectual city-state, when they were literally, confining women to their estates. A woman could leave her home for short periods of time, but is expected to be mostly at home. She had freedom in her courtyard, but only in her courtyard. Women were not allowed to be in politics, such and so forth. And this transferred into the Roman society. And so when we talk about the spread of Christianity, the spread of Christianity is also heavily connected to the Greco-Roman culture at that time. And so when you have the Greeks and the Romans that treat women like crap, and then it spread, the spread of Christianity also was the spread of that culture. So it really wasn't Christianity that treated women bad. It was its relationship with the Greco-Roman culture. Okay? Now, so let's look at some other cultures. The Celts and the Norse. They did treat the women right. They were treated as equals. In Celtic society, a woman can inherit property. She could rule over her tribe, which is fact. She can do so much more compared to other cultures. In fact, in Celtic society, if a couple was to be married and the female had more money, more possessions, she was the one who made the decisions upon how the money was spent. Okay, and that's pretty awesome. So when we say that the pagans treated their women right, it's a half truth, because the Celts did, the Norse did, the Greeks didn't, the Romans didn't. Many cultures during that time did not treat the women like the way the Celts and the Norse did. So if you are going to constantly blame Christianity, it's because you're still angry about Christianity, about how it hurt you. You are still suffering from the scars of Christianity, and it's got to come to an end. Okay? You need to stop and think about this. Not all pagans were good to their wives or women in general. Okay? It's not what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear. Okay? That's lesson 1.